Best of r/ Tales from Tech Support episode 79. Subscribe for Reddit videos daily. I do tech on the side, but don't advertise, so it's basically word of mouth. I have a FT job in IT, and don't mind a little money on the side here and there, but would never want the trials of my own business. Here is a short story of a call I received when the Windows 10 upgrade was still advertised as free. $UC equals unaware client $me equals myself, of course. $UC calls. Hi, I'm $UC and I got your number from $old professor who said you could help me upgrade a few computers to Windows 10. $me. Absolutely. I am happy to help. How many are there? $UC. I have 3. How much would you charge? $me. Well, the upgrade is still free, so Ms. won't charge, but it's $60 per computer for my fee. $UC. Well, could you just tell me how to do it over the phone? $me. I'd be happy to come teach you on the first one, but there would still be a charge. $UC. Can you just send me some video links on how to do it? $me. You are welcome to search the interwebs yourself for the solutions, but for me to send you links would basically cut me out of my work. $UC. Okay, well I will call you later today to set something up. $me. Sounds good. She never called. Thank you. Next. I work in the construction industry as one of 4 IT guys for a well-off construction company in the PNW. While it's fun to dick around with cool new stuff all the time, have a beer fridge right outside my office, and a pool table 10 feet away from that, I still have to talk to mouth breathers. For instance, yesterday while I was at a job site, the superintendent there wanted faster internet, so I obliged them. Cable wasn't too much more and it was quite a bit faster than their DSL they had. Easy swap. Took me all of 15 or 20 minutes to program their public IPs into their router, get the VPN back up and running, along with sending a scan from the copier to his email to show him it worked. No sooner than when I start packing gear up, he asks if I can look at the survey engineer's computer. Me being the generous guy I am, I set my stuff down again to go look at it in the other room. Now these job trailers are 60 feet long, and usually the internet service terminates in the super's office. Well, same goes for here with one caveat. This trailer was old, older than all the others I've been in before, in that it has old carpet in it. The Cat 5 is strung up along the wall, going through eye hooks, with a hole drilled through the super's office wall leading to the conference room. I walk in, and see that the cabling that was in raceway, had gang boxes on the wall, with terminated keystones are all torn off the wall and piled in a jumbled mess. Me being me, I stop right in the entryway and asked him if he's been doing some remodeling in the trailer, cause it looks like absolute F-atine garbage. His response was, well, we wanted to put these whiteboards up, and didn't have room. I chuckle to myself and walk over to the engineer's computer, and see that it has Ethernet going to it. I trace the cable to find that it's plugged into one of these now jumbled up keystones. I kick the pile of network cabling and give him a classic well there's your problem. It was at this point that I start to realize how much of a pain in the ass this is going to be tracing all the garbage out back to the punch panel. Looking at the floor and scratching my head, I walk back and grab my cable testing kit and start doggedly tracing this spaghetti monster. Lo and behold, in their process of ripping the crap off the wall, they had managed to sever the 2 jacks that they tried. All the others tested out fine. The cable that they had originally of course couldn't reach the shorter jacks that were there, so I go back out to my car and pull out my spool of cabling and make one long enough to reach. As I'm terminating the second end of the cable, the superintendent comes back in and asks me how long it was going to take me to put all the cabling back up on the walls. I flat out told him, this is a bigger project than what I was prepared for, and that it'll have to wait for another day because I don't have the time, nor patience for this right now. You're going to have to clean up your own mess. The best part of all this was, the whiteboards that they desperately wanted to mount on that wall. They had room on the wall opposite with nothing to interfere with mounting them. It was only after relating this to my boss, that he gave the best response ever. You should have told him that we don't come to job sites tear up a freshly poured cement slab to lay conduit, because we need to run our cabling for our TVs through here. I'm probably going to be making another stop, when I'm able to go down there full bore. Needless to say, I charge their job site for my 2-hour drive out there, my lunch, my gas, and my mileage. Thank you. Next. I'm a on-site technician and had a service request to repair a pose that was experiencing double drive failure. It uses RAID 1. The process for me is to replace both drive, configure RAID, and then re-image it. The whole thing should really take under an hour. Pretty simple, right? Not for the second level guy. His role is to prepare the image and put it on my USB key from another terminal and walk me through the configuration of the image. Before heading to the customer site, I called the help desk and they confirmed that the image is ready. I arrived on site and lo and behold, it's not actually ready. Second level says they need another hour to finalize everything. Okay, no problem. I'll use the time to PM the terminal, replace both drive, prep the RAID setup and BIOS. I've done this plenty of times before. Second level calls me back and said they're ready to put the image on my USB key. I plugged it into a nearby terminal and left them to do their stuff. Half hour goes by. Haven't heard anything from second level. I looked over the terminal where he was supposed to prepare the USB key and noticed that he ran disk part twice. Unusual. Maybe something's wrong with my USB key, but he hasn't said anything at this point. Another half hour goes by. I call him to see what's up. He throws some excuse at me about how he's working with his co-worker and they're sorting out something. Alright, take your time. I get paid by the hour. Another half hour and they're finally ready. Second level calls me and asks me to replace both hard drive. I told him that I already did that while I was waiting for him and also completed the RAID setup as well, the BIOS setup. All we need to do is just plug in the USB key and then fire her up. He puts me on hold briefly and gets back to me. I spoke to my supervisor and apparently you weren't supposed to do that. Why? Well, if something goes wrong, then the customer can blame us and not you guys. Your job is to follow our instructions. After wasting 2.5 hours on something that should really take half hour to complete, I was getting frustrated at the delay and said fine, we'll do it your way then. What do you need me to do now? First, I need you to press Ctrl-I to get into the RAID menu. So I did. Nothing happened. Are you in the RAID menu? No, nothing happened. The screen is just black. Oh, maybe you need to reboot it. Hit Ctrl-Alt-Del and then try Ctrl-I again to get into the RAID menu. So I followed his instruction down to the I. Again, nothing happened. I hear the second level guy talking to someone else and I offered my opinion. Would you like me to turn the terminal on? Oh, yes please, and then hit Ctrl-I. After following more of his instructions to delete the RAID that I had already created and create the RAID one, we reached the point where we need to go into the BIOS to change some settings, but before I let him go any further, just so you know, you had me create a RAID 0, and not RAID 1. He had me re-verify some details and was confused as to why I created RAID 0 and not RAID 1. I did exactly what you told me to do. You didn't tell me to change the RAID option to mirror. This is after you gave me shit for not following instructions. You know what? There's a problem with the cell reception. Either you use the store's main phone or get a better technician. I agree. Go get somebody else on the phone. He puts me on hold and somebody else took over from him. We quickly got this under wrap. Thank you. Next. As previously mentioned, senior technical support for the fruit-based enterprise. This is not necessarily tech support, but I thought it was at first. Customer calls in all guns blazing. From her 5-minute incessant barrage, I managed to dumb it down to 3 points. Thank you. Next. LTR. FTP. Gonna keep this one short. Had a client complaining of a stuck pixel on his new monitor. I sent him a link to a video that could help to unstick it, told him to play the entire video on the monitor in question, and let me know if it unsticks. 3 hours later client calls and says that he ran the whole video and no cigar. I asked him to run it again. He says okay, sure. Then he mentions yeah okay I got the thing running. I'm gonna shut the monitor off and go for lunch. I respond to him that the monitor actually has to be on for it to do the stuck pixel treatment. His response is oh my secretary finds it annoying so she shut it off last time, just trying to save her from a headache. Save me from a headache instead, please. Time for a stiff drink. Thank you. Next. As an old techie, back to the days of DOS 3 and NetWare 3, I've my share of tech tales. Reading about a school construction project gone awry reminded me of this one. The first summer I was working for a rural school district, painters came in to redo one of the schools. Being busy with other summertime projects, I didn't pay them much mind. Come early August, I start finding classroom computers not connecting to the network. It quickly becomes apparent that painters hadn't paid any attention to avoiding the network wall jacks. As a result, I spent a few days which I could ill afford checking all the school's network jacks and replacing/testing as needed. A great number of imprecations and invective were directed at the paint crew during this time. The next summer rolls around, and I hear that the painters are back. I collar the head of the paint crew the district hired and ask him to have his people be more attentive and not foul my network jacks. He was resistant, claiming that it would take too much time, and as the project was a fixed payment, he'd be losing money. My reply was that I would be reporting every network jack that was painted over to the district business office, and his payment would be docked by $100 for each and every network jack I had to replace. I didn't have to replace a single jack that summer. Thank you. Next. TL. Doctor, what do you mean? We should monitor our stuff? $me. Obvious. $VM engineer. Helpful. $storage team. No role in here. No monitoring. No common sense, I guess. So, my virtual desktop sessions for intaking and packaging software are excruciating slow for almost a day. I had hoped the overnight reboot processes etc would have solved this, but alas. Time to put in a ticket for the $virtual management team and follow up, walking in there and have a chat. It's good to be IT. $me. Hi, it seems my virtual machines have an issue. Looks like moving data around is slow until the unworkable level. $VM engineer. Let's have a look in your session then. Pokes around a bit. Sees my file copy action has basically halted. $VM engineer. Yeah, but I cannot really see anything wrong with the session itself. Have you tried copying stuff locally in that session? $me. As to exclude the network from the chain? Will do. One moment. Same effect. Starts quite okay. Looks like stopping altogether for a minute. Then speed drops down to a trickle at roughly 3 MB/s. I walk back. $me. Nope. That's not it. $VM engineer. Let me try and optimize disks for a few machines. Oh, I see one of the storage areas is no longer active. I do know they are changing things in there. It's possible $VM software is too busy reaching it to be bothered doing its normal job. Changes some stuff. Does a rescan for storage. Sure enough, one area showing red now has disappeared. Apparently the storage guys removed some hardware without disabling it properly in the $VM software console. $me. Okay, I'll wait for more news. Few minutes later. $VM engineer. Try again. $me. Nope. Same story. Few minutes later. $VM engineer. Looks like the host that your sessions are on is not running too well. And I see the cluster is not optimized yet. We need to reboot the host to adjust that too. Do you know who else is working on these machines? $me. Well, the migration team and the application team. Let's go over there and ask who is active. Some visits and 15 minutes later. $me. Let me know when I can try again. $VM engineer. Will do. 45 minutes. $VM engineer. Okay, it seems this has not the effect we wanted. I need to check out with the storage guys. $me. Okidoki. 30 minutes later. $VM engineer. They checked and found that the battery pack on the battery-backed cache module has died, so it's not caching at the moment. Hence the performance loss. $me. Okay, it's not going to solve my slowness then, but at least we know what happened and it will hopefully be fixed in due time. Thanks. I now have 2 questions. How come nobody else is noticing/reporting the slowness in the past 24 hours? There's at least 25 people working on this cluster. How come this battery pack can die unnoticed for a day? I think I have 2 answers. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. Latest. Yesterday I had my scheduled day off. This morning things are back to normal.